We are out in the shop today and we're doing a refresh on this 2022 Yamaha TTR 125. This is my oldest daughter's bike and we're gonna get it ready for her for summertime riding. And right now in Alaska, it's like -40. So what better time to, be out in the shop and kind of tinkering with stuff when you can't get out. But what we're gonna do with this bike, we're gonna go through, we're gonna clean out the carb, we're gonna put a jet kit in this thing for cold start. And then we're also gonna put new tires, tubes. We're gonna do the clearance on the valves, make sure everything's good with that. And I've already went through so far, we put new handlebars, new grips, and we've put some new levers on. So I'll add in the levers, the other stuff I didn't get footage for. And one thing I wanna do is also refresh the plastics a little bit. The guy who I bought this bike off of, he outgrew the bike, and I just know he was kind of rough on it. He's kind of laid this down a bunch. So we're gonna try to refresh the plastics and get this bike looking a little bit better than what it is right now. So in this video, we're just gonna compile some of the footage from doing some of the different services. But if you wanna find out more in-depth details about each thing, just like the oil change or checking the clearance on the valves, then you can find those videos on my webpage as well. And we're gonna finish it off with an oil change and just making sure everything is good to go with this bike. So like and subscribe, turn on that notification bell. Let's get into it. First thing, we're gonna put the new levers on, brake lever and clutch lever, get this thing looking fresh again. So with this bike, I did replace the grips not too long ago, and this bike already came with a set of fly handlebars, which is a little bit of an upgrade from stock. But we're gonna go ahead, get those new levers installed. We got the clutch cable. We're gonna go ahead and install this new clutch lever. All right, nice replacement fix right here. All right, new brake lever installed. Now we got the new levers installed. They work out really good. Brake lever works, everything works, and I think it looks good. That blue contrasts really well with the rest of the bike. All right, let's get into number 2. So there's no rhyme or reason to which step we're gonna do next. I think we're gonna go ahead and do the oil change next, just because it's easy, and then we're gonna move into checking the valve clearance. That way we can go ahead and get all the plastics and everything off, the tank off, and then we can show you how to check the valve clearance. So this is the kit we're using today. It comes with 2 quarts of Yamaha lube, Tim W40, and then it also comes with a little funnel you can use. We're not gonna be using this, but it does come with a little crush washer. So it's got everything you need, and it's only 1.2 quarts, so you only need a little bit out of your second quart, and honestly, you really probably don't even need to use that second quart unless you're cracking open the entire engine and starting completely over. There's still gonna be some oil left in that crankcase, so more than likely we're only gonna be using 1 quart of oil. So the kit pretty much allows you to do 2 oil changes, and if you got a couple extra of these crush washers, you should be good to go. And I would suggest changing these just about every time. That was on there. All right, we're gonna let that drain out. So what we're gonna do is go ahead, take our new crush washer, put it on the bolt, go ahead and insert the drain bolt back in the bike. All right, we're gonna go ahead and fill it up on the other side. All right, we pour this quart in. It's probably one of the easiest oil changes you can do on a motorcycle. No filter to worry about or anything. That's one cool thing about these non-performance engines. It's just an air-cooled engine. Very low maintenance on these, not a lot of high temperatures, not a lot of moving parts. It's just real simple. All right, so we're gonna let that sit for a second. We're gonna fire the bike up, let it circulate the oil a little bit, and then we're gonna check the level. Now we're gonna go ahead and check the dipstick. What I'm gonna do is get on the bike right now. I'm gonna lean it up where the bike is upright, and we're gonna check the level. I'm gonna wipe it off first. And we're gonna screw the dipstick all the way back down in there. And as you can tell, we have plenty of oil on that dipstick. We got the oil change out of the way. We're gonna move on to the next thing, which is gonna be getting some of these plastics off, get the tank off. That way we can go ahead and check these valve clearances. Let's go ahead and get these plastics off. Take this one off completely. All right, that's gonna allow us to remove the seat. Pry it back off the frame. All right, then we're able to pull this off. All right, no fuel came out, so that's good. There is a little fuel down in this, but we're gonna go ahead and tuck it up this way so no fuel runs out. And these are plastic, so be very cautious not to over tighten them. All right, I see the H, and I'm putting it right in the middle of the H. So hopefully you guys can see that up in there. But there's like a little detent that sticks down, and then there's an H on that flywheel. I think you can see it just a little bit, but I have it centered out. That's gonna let us know that we're top dead center, and they're probably on there pretty tight. That one wasn't too bad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this has never been done on this particular bike. I really wanted to just make sure that everything's good with these. All right, that's what your caps look like. Has a little seal in there. Since our clearance for our intake valve needs to be 0.08 to 0.12 millimeter, we're gonna go ahead and pick out one right in between, and that is gonna be our 0.10 millimeter feeler gauge. All right, we can't even get it under there. This thing is so tight. So you just want a little resistance, but we're gonna have to go ahead and back this one off. All right, crack that open. Spin it a little bit. Feeler gauge under there. And we have just enough clearance so you can tell we've got it sliding back and forth. Underneath that little tappet, we have just enough drag on that feeler gauge. So we're gonna go ahead right here and tighten that back down. For the exhaust valve, said the tolerance needs to be 0.10 to 0.14 millimeter. And I'm just gonna split the difference. I don't have a 0.12 millimeter, so we're gonna go with the 0.13. Yeah, this one's extremely tight as well. Barely any movement when I wiggle the valve. So we're gonna go ahead, loosen that one up as well. All right, got that broke loose. Shouldn't have to move this one too much. Spin it just a little bit. All right, we can tell there's a little bit more play now. Tighten it down just a little bit. All right, we got just enough tension as we're sliding that feeler gauge through. That's what we want. All right, now we're gonna double check that. All right, that's what we're looking for. Now that we have our valves all in spec, we're gonna go ahead, switch over to cleaning out the carburetor and also installing this Tusk cold start kit. This comes with a new pilot jet and a main jet, and this is gonna kind of smooth this out as far as idling goes. This bike has a bad problem staying at idle once you start it up for probably, I would say, the first 10 minutes till this bike really gets warm. It has a hard time idling. So hopefully this kit right here solves the issue. All right, all we really have to do is take the two boots off here, and then pretty much we can just kind of swivel the whole carburetor upwards, and that's going to allow us to access the bowl on the bottom. We're not going to be really worrying about anything else up top with the carburetor. We're essentially just taking the bowl off. We're going to clean the bowl out, and then we're going to put the new jets in. All right, now that we have the carburetor tilted backwards, we're going to be able to take the 4 bolts on all 4 corners out. That's going to allow us to take the whole bowl off. All right, we got this cracked open. A little bit of gas coming out. Get this out real good. All right, I'm going to set that to the side. We're going to go ahead and focus on the bottom end of the carb. All right, so right down here we have our new main jet and our new pilot jet. We're going to go ahead, get the main jet installed. Take your screwdriver and break open the main jet down here. All right, we're going to take the new main jet. We're going to put this little whatever it is back up on it here. All right, we're going to pull this off again because we need clearance. I wasn't even thinking. We need clearance up into the pilot jet. You're going to have to get a smaller flathead screwdriver for this one. All right, that's going to fall out. And there's definitely a difference here. The holes in the original one are a lot bigger on the sides. This one's a lot smaller. The opening and the tip is about the same though. With the carb cleaner, I'm gonna do the same thing for the main jet here. All right, we're just gonna spray all up on the carburetor. All right, we're gonna get our new pilot jet. Place that up in there. Nice and easy. We're just gonna go ahead and snug this down. Once it kind of gets tension, that's when you stop. We're gonna leave it right there. All right, we're gonna put the bowl back on. All right, we're gonna put all 4 screws back in. We'll catch back up with you. Get that boot fully seated. Now get the back one. Let's take a screwdriver and cinch them back down. So we just flipped the gas to on. We're gonna go ahead and see if this jet kit actually worked. I don't even have the choke on. That's the choke. All right, we disengaged the choke. I'd say it works pretty good. Perfect. This is wild. But yeah, there you go. All right, the next thing on the list, we're going to be refreshing some of these plastics. And with this, you have to have some expectations. You're not going to be getting a perfect product like if you were to go buy new plastics, which you can do. There's a bunch of different plastics out on the market and you can get them pretty affordable. But with this bike, none of the plastics were broke or cracked. Just some major wear marks and stuff where the previous owner had laid this bike down quite a bit. So we're going to be using some tools such as razor blades. We'll get us a heat gun, and we're going to try to restore these plastics just a little bit to make it look a little bit better than what it's in right now. But let's get into restoring these plastics. So you can tell the plastics have got some real deep scratches on them. We're going to go through, we're going to take off some of these stickers that we don't need. And I've already tinkered with this one a little bit. It does have like a flat finish to it. But we're gonna go through, take the razor blade, we're gonna try to get off some of these deep scratches where you can just kind of peel it back with that razor blade. And then also where you have like light colored plastic, where this has had some rough tension put on it. There's some spots like this. We're gonna take that heat gun and it's actually gonna pull out the oils in the plastic and it's gonna make it have the same dark blue once again. So that's a trick that you can do on just about any plastic out there. Now for these up here that have the graphics are wore pretty bad on this, but I'm not too worried about it. The plastics are in good condition. We're just once again gonna freshen up some of these places where it's kind of been pinched a little bit. Up here, some really bad scratches up here. We're gonna try to get out with the razor blade. And then we're also gonna use our orbital sander to kind of cut through some of this, and then we'll kind of polish it out. Be able to pull it up pretty easy. There you go, look at that clean plastic right there. Ooh, it's hot. All right, now we're gonna take our orbital sander with some very fine grit sandpaper on it, and we're just gonna try to take pretty much the first layer off of this plastic. All right, we wiped it off really good with some water, got all the dust and everything off of it. Now I got some 2000 grit, a little over 2000 grit sandpaper. We're gonna try to pretty much buff with this. All right, we got it looking pretty good. It's still drying a little bit, and you can tell there's some discolorations in the plastic. We're gonna take our heat gun right now, and we're gonna see if we can pull the color out of this. I want you to see how it turns the plastic a different color. All right, it's starting to get hot now, you can see it. All right, it didn't turn out perfect, but I think it looks pretty good. You can definitely tell where those stickers were, though. I think we should have probably cut into the plastic a little bit more. All right, this side panel turned out really good, but I spent a lot of time on this one. Took a lot of passes with the higher grit sandpaper, and then we polished it up pretty good with the 2000 grit sandpaper. And then we took the heat gun to it. All right, the final step of this build is going to be to replace these tires. And the reason that this was the last part of the build is because I've been waiting on the tires to actually come in. It takes a while to get some stuff to Alaska, so we've been waiting on that, but everything else is good to go on this bike. We're gonna throw these tires on, show you how to do that. That's gonna round out the build. Pull the axle out. Pull it out of the caliper. And we're just gonna feed this tube in. All right. Give it some motivation. All right, we got this linkage disengaged. You could go ahead and undo it from up here, but we decided just to take the off back here. Just kind of peeling this chain back. All right. There we go. All right, the entire thing. Go ahead and just push down. There we go. All right, we got that tightened down. All right, guys, we got our new treads installed. Overall, it turned out pretty good. I will say though, putting these rear tires on, my gosh, talk about a wrestling match. And it'd probably help if we had all of the proper tools and everything for it and bought a higher quality tire, but this is just a really cheap rear tire off of Amazon. And the reason I had to do this is because if I bought some tires off Motorsport or Rocky Mountain ATV, they were gonna charge me like 200 bucks for shipping up here to Alaska. So I wasn't doing that. So we went with some cheap Amazon rear tires, and it was a battle to put these on the rims. But we got it done. All right, guys, we are finally done with the Yamaha TTR 125 refresh. And I will say, most of this was very smooth, but when it comes to putting tires on, if you're not well versed in how to do this, then you're gonna struggle. So definitely watch some tutorials on how to install tires. Front tire wasn't that bad, but the rear tire, I'll tell you, they do cause some problems if you don't know what you're doing. So overall, I think this was a very functional build. I think we're gonna be pretty happy with this. I think my daughter is gonna be very pleased with this bike come summertime when she could actually get this thing out. I know this video didn't cover all aspects of doing a refresh or even a tune-up, and that's because this bike did have a brand new air filter and it had a fairly new spark plug. So I wasn't worried about doing an entire tune-up kit on this thing, but if you look in the description box below, I will put just the oil change kit by itself, and also I'll put a full tune-up kit. That way, if you're looking to go that route, you can get the air filter and the spark plug along with the oil. If you like this kind of stuff, let me know, because I am planning on potentially purchasing some used dirt bikes, maybe some used race quads, and we're gonna do some builds on those too, because I love kind of restoring things and tinkering with things, whatever. It's kind of a hobby of mine, but we might do that in the future if you like this kind of content. Like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell. We're gonna be rolling out some videos with the specifics on how to do certain services, like putting the jet kit in, doing the valve clearance check, things like that. We're gonna dive in a little bit more in depth. But overall, this video kind of was just a refresh to get this TTR 125, a little bit of a facelift. I know it's only about a 3-year-old bike, but give this thing a little bit of a refresh. Guys, hopefully you like this. We'll catch you in future videos.